As soon as you start to step in the correspondence, and as soon as those women will answer you, you will be dumped in the washing machine. And the washing machine is now you are involved with some woman. And the day you realize that you want to visit them, and you want to visit several, because there are maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 you like, and you have, contrary to the Western European dating market, you have many opportunities. This is absolutely new, this is very appealing, this is very exciting. Suddenly you have so much opportunities compared to your dating markets that you want to miss any. This is also known as the syndrome of being in a candy store. You want to buy all of this and to taste all of this. Today, imagine that you want to travel to Ukraine, to Russia, to Belarus. Because some men or a lot of men are not necessarily coming to a tour or coming to an agency, and they do this by their own. The video is about, is this possible? Is this realistic? What you have to do prior to the travel during the correspondence, and what are the best strategy, and how should you adapt to have the maximum of success during what we call, as an insider, visit many. Now let's study a real case. I have chosen the city of Dallas in the middle of the USA, and what will happen when you will have decided to meet this or those women, you will probably do a little geography. And now it's time to discover the 3 cities that I have chosen. So first it's Novosibirsk in Russia. The second one is Gomel in Belarus. And the third one is Kherson. And by the way, we say Ukraine. Please, never the Ukraine. It was the USSR. The idea of the study case is to help you to navigate in this whole process of traveling, choosing the train, taxi, what is the best, using a nice search flight, using for example, the Belarus national train site. The idea is that you're gonna to travel for 1 week. Are we gonna to meet those 3 women? After weeks or maybe months of intense communication, you have decided to visit the 3 women. And the problem is, in your correspondence, you have started to set up a specific schedule with the woman, trying, of course, to not mess up and saying to this one, I will meet you Saturday, Sunday, and to the other one, I will meet you Tuesday and Wednesday, and the last one, Friday and Saturday. Just an example. We will see that it's a little more complicated than you think. I will show you step by step. We need to jump on this application and to realize something, just to show you. A flight between Moscow and Kiev, and I have chosen a period from the Saturday 7 August, so normally there is a lot of flight. Let's try to find some flight between Moscow and Kiev. And what happened? You will arrive in Kiev from Moscow, but as you can see, no direct flight. You have a lot of stop everywhere, but no direct flight. So you have to stop in Vienna, in Istanbul, to be capable to get in Ukraine. And as you guess, you will have already probably 3 flights just to reach Novosibirsk. We need to check this just after. The best strategy is very likely to first go to Russia and after to jump to Belarus. So just let's watch if there is a flight between Moscow and Minsk for the same period. Why I'm talking about Moscow each time, Moscow and Minsk, is simply because when you come back from Novosibirsk, you will land on Moscow every time. There is no direct flight, so I will take, let's say, Tuesday, just to see. Yes, there are direct flights, 1 hour, 20 or 30 minutes. So we have a winner here. So it makes a lot of sense to schedule your travel, Russia, and after from Moscow to go directly to Minsk. Let's try to find if we can get a direct Moscow-Gomel, because maybe it exists, I don't know. Just try to check. Sorry, we found no result on this date. So this site is a big aggregator, and if it doesn't exist on this site, there are many chances that there are no real flight. We need to make a stop in Minsk. That means to get in a train. And let's see what happened with the flight from Novosibirsk. And we want a flight that starts Tuesday in the morning as early as possible, so you can sleep a little. And it means that the first one we have, it's 8 a.m. 40, and we have to choose this one even if it's expensive, because you cannot lose again 22 hours. Don't forget that after Minsk you have to join Gomel and to use a train. It means that you will start Tuesday and arrive end of the afternoon, 6 p.m. in Minsk. So it's likely, very likely, that you will not meet the woman in Gomel for the dinner. Maybe you can use a car directly from the airport. It will be costly. Additionally, most of the time the guy will try to rip you off, and I would say in normal time you should pay probably 160 bucks, between 160 and 200, but maybe this guy will ask you 300. So you better to go by train, but you have to go from the airport to the train. Even if the distance is quite short, between 2 and 250 miles between Minsk and Gomel, you will lose your whole Tuesday in transportation. We have to add this price, 560 bucks, to the previous ticket to keep some contents about the cost. So now the problem we have is to join Minsk and to go to Gomel by train. So let's have a look on the map to situate the airport. And this airport is situated on the south, around 12-15 kilometers approximately. And one of the problems you will have, you can find this site of the national Belarus train easily. But when you come on this box from 2, and now we are facing a difficulty, because when you type Minsk, Belarus, you have several choices. And that's the same in Ukraine. And you have to find out which one to, because maybe it's a question of $1 or $2, but if you have the controller and you don't have the right ticket, you can face many problems in the train. So I would advise to have the right ticket. So how we can find this? I will help you. We have, generally speaking, in such cities, the train stations are situated in the very center, which is the case here. So it's Minsk Passagierski. It means Minsk passengers. So you just have to type the first choice. And so for Gomel, if we tap Gomel, we have the same problem. So okay, we will let this like it is. So we are on August and we cannot select August because the time schedule don't allow us to get a ticket too much in advance. Happens the same if in Ukraine. That means that you damned need to book your train ticket in advance in the correct time, and to set up an alarm on your phone or everywhere you want to buy this damned ticket. And you need to buy the ticket back and forth. For the video, we will choose July just to have an idea of how it works. So we want to start, oh my gosh. So you see this, the last one is very interesting. And this is damned interesting, and to show you the difficulty and to plan out what you want to do very in advance. Right now, actually, you have a night train, and this one is very interesting. In your case, very easily, we arrive at 6:40 in the airport. That means that you need to get out to go to the city center, I would advise you to take the night train. No, really. But now there are no seats available. That is what is written. Reason for this. I suppose in this specific case that they have not allowed the train to be booked. They will wait maybe 1 month in advance before allowing the access to the seat. What I can guarantee you is that the bed, because now in this train you can sleep and there are very beautiful compartment of two. This is Lux class, and I will show you in another video. I will make a video about the train in Ukraine, but this is the same standard in Belarus. And after you are the first class, there is 4 beds in a compartment. So I would advise you in such case to really use the night train, and you can sleep, and you also are saving an hotel night. So it's cheaper to stay in this train. Maybe you can set up a lunch with this woman. This is our plan to join Gomel. And don't forget to book the ticket for when you will return. So we start to understand that this is quite a huge planification with all the risk of such travel in country where basically you all is in Cyrillic, and I would advise you also to have some understanding about the Cyrillic to be a little more comfortable. Just imagine that you arrive in Gomel Wednesday, and you can have lunch and a dinner, and you spend Thursday evening with her, and you leave Friday to join Ukraine. It's quite hot. It's quite hot because we still haven't came back to the USA. So let's try to do this and to go from Gomel to Kherson. So unfortunately, Kherson is on the south of Ukraine, because I do believe that you could, for example, if you have chosen another city in north of Ukraine, maybe it's possible to go by train from Gomel directly to Ukraine. So let me show you on the map. Gomel is not so far from the Ukrainian border. So as you can see, border is very close. We have 2 options: to come back to Minsk to take a flight, and maybe there is a Minsk-Odessa. I have some doubt. Or maybe we can have a train. Train in such country are very useful and very reliable. So we go from Gomel and we need to go to Kherson. And of course, I don't have calendar for August, so I need to use another one just for the video. Also, we will choose Tuesday, the same day, a Friday. We need to use a Friday to be sure, and try to find the train. Let's see what happens. And it will be also cheapest and no direct communication. So now you need to understand that if there is no direct train between Gomel and Kiev, we have to use the plane. If I use a Minsk, just by curiosity, I want to use a Minsk, Kiev to know, because maybe there is one, there is not. In the political situation right now, it means that the link between Belarus by train and Ukraine are cut. So that's bad, because maybe for the plane we will have no direct plane to go to Ukraine. Let's try to find out together right now. And Minsk, Odessa, and we have to choose the correct time. That will be one way with a departure 11 Friday. By night train could be very useful if you go to Gomel and if you come back to take your plane in Minsk. What I've told you, there is no direct flight to Ukraine. You have to make a stop by Istanbul. You can start in the morning. This is the first flight that costs $457. And this one is good, provided that you have came by the night train from Gomel, Minsk, and you had enough time to join the airport and to board. Okay, it's quite risky already with this flight. But this flight allows you to arrive in Odessa and to join Kherson. So I will try to use a taxi. Probably you can have a Friday evening with this woman of Kherson, and Saturday it will be not possible because you will have to leave Odessa, Kherson. It's quite close, 100 miles. But 100 miles in Ukraine, you can easily need 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, depending on the road. And probably here you have to pass through Nikolaev. Very likely. Yes, you have to. Probably 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. And let's try to find out how you can board in Odessa and to come back to USA. This will be a flight from Odessa, Ukraine to Dallas. This is a one-way, and you will board Saturday 14. All those planes are starting in the morning. This travel from Dallas to Novosibirsk, after to Gomel and to Kherson, 3 countries, practically is almost impossible to do. My advice is simply you to avoid to visit in 1 week 3 countries. And even if you aim to Russia, I would consider very carefully what are the cities and where are those women. It represents 9 flights, 2 trains, 4 taxis, and the one between Odessa and Kherson back and forth. It's probably 5 hours of drive. Additionally, we have seen that it was quite difficult to move from Russia to Ukraine or from Belarus to Ukraine. And definitively you need to separate these 2 blocks accordingly to the political events since 2014, and also probably considering the crisis that Belarus have met since 1 year. Definitively I would aim only 1 country. And we work under condition that when everything is fine, no delay in plane. And what you don't know is when you will be inside the country, deal with the taxi, deal with the train, it's difficult. Myself, I needed few years before starting to be a little comfortable with this story of train. I took the train many times, and it was a nightmare to find out where was this train, what was the platform, even almost not capable to read the tickets to know what was my place, what was the wagon. The total cost is approximately $4,500 for this road trip. I have considered all taxis, hotel, food, and we don't speak about anything fancy. We speak about restaurant for the woman around 50 or 80 bucks maximum. Hotel around $100, 2,500 bucks of airfare. So finally, in the theory of this study case, we succeed to have a lunch and a dinner with the girls from Novosibirsk on Monday, because due to the jet lag, you arrive on Monday in the very early morning with the flight from Dallas. We had Wednesday the possibility to have a lunch and a dinner with a woman from Gomel, and Thursday evening for the dinner and Friday for the lunch and the dinner, we had time to meet the Kherson woman before returning to Dallas. That is what this study case is supposed to show us, but there are so many risks due to the many back and forth between the 3 cities that I have a lot of doubt, and you will be very, very, very tired. And I think that it is not really the right condition. Appreciate and have a good time with those women and to be at the peak of your performance, personal performance. I want you to consider that in fact you are arriving in a dropping zone or in a landing zone. If you have some military background, you understand what I mean. You will be efficient in the areas you have chosen in advance. So for example, if you are living in Miami, you will not consider on a dating site any woman from LA, from Boston, from Seattle, or from Denver. If you live in Australia, in Adelaide, you will not consider a woman from Darwin, from Perth, or from Brisbane. I propose you to reconsider the no strategy, because writing to any woman is not a strategy, and to replace it by having a real strategy. And that means to have some discipline. And this is where you can perform better and better than any other guy. Because most guys have no discipline about dating, online dating. So you have to choose this country. I would advise you in 1 week to aim one city, maximum 2, and to stick on and to put the filter and the parameters in your dating application accordingly. I would like you to make some commentary about the situation that you have met, scheduling and planning some trip in former Soviet Union, the problem you have faced setting up several dates with several different women. That will be useful, and so we could have a discussion and put this in the commentary. Now I want to focus about the mistake that a lot of men are doing, and you can have really a big advantage on other men, and so you can having better quality time with women and to meet more women. Because a lot of time men are confusing the visit one with the visit many, and this is absolutely not the same. Visiting one is generally starting by writing many, and in the end the man is focusing on only one woman, and therefore he is establishing a quality connection with this woman, and he decides to meet her after. With the visit many, the problem if you start to do such strategy and spending a lot of time with the woman. what she's waiting for? She's waiting you to visit her and exclusively her. And maybe this is not what you want for different reasons, and again I have no judgment, no opinion about this. If you start to make such a thing, you will face a lot of trouble, because the woman will try to understand why you are getting out before you return to the USA, why you are not here if she's the second one, and no woman wants to be the second choice. I've been a little sneaky with you, because in fact this travel 3 women in 3 cities, that was not a real visit many. Yes, you visited 3. And why? Because I told you in the beginning of the video that the guy is supposed to spend months communicating with those ladies, maybe on an hourly basis. In fact, what had been made, it's 3 visit 1 in a trip. And so why I've been a little sneaky is because there will be a second video to tell you what and how to conduct a real visit many with a lot of results and really less headache. So let's meet to the next video. Bye bye.